when the Salvation Army invited me to spend a day with them, I didn't think for 1 minute I'd be doing this. It's 150 years since William Booth founded his army of soul savers, so what work have they been doing since? And what am I doing here at Hadley Farm in Essex, which the Salvation Army says is one of their best kept secrets? Claire is in Kingston upon Thames to hear how new friendships were formed when a group of Christians came to the aid of a neighbouring mosque. And we'll be meeting a young Scottish musician who's combining traditional and modern styles to create new hymns he hopes will last for generations.
Hopefully people will still be singing my songs 50, 100 years' time.
The Salvation Army has always marched to music, so this week we're going to be singing along with a traditional brass band, as well as featuring some of the Salvation Army's modern style of worship. And there'll be a great song from Michael Ball later on in the programme. But just look at this idyllic countryside. We're going to start with a hymn of praise for the beauty around us. Mention the Salvation Army and what comes to mind? Soup kitchens, brass bands, carols at Christmas? Well, that is all still part of their work, but so is this farm. Hadley Farm lies in 950 acres of Essex countryside. It's open to the public, who come to enjoy the Rare Breeds Centre and have lunch in the tea rooms. What makes it special is that it's also where the Salvation Army train people to help them get into the job market. It's just one of many projects that the Salvation Army is involved with today, and it all started a century and a half ago with one man's vision, and that man was William Booth. Aged 36 in 1865, William Booth was a travelling evangelist. In the East End of London, he was struck by the poverty he found and began feeding the poor and preaching his message of hope. By his side was his wife Catherine, a powerful preacher in her own right, and soon they had a growing number of followers. Together, they set up what was to become a worldwide organisation.
On the 2nd of July, Founders' Day, we are celebrating 150 years of the Salvation Army.
So we've got some really interesting bits and pieces here, haven't we?
Yes, certainly. Let's start with the Darkest England and the Way Out. That was William Booth's social manifesto. He drew this wonderful picture of the submerged tenth of society, as he called them: unemployed, slavery, prison, drunkenness. And William Booth just wanted to save their souls, bring them to a city colony and then to a farm colony here at Hadley, before going on in some cases to the colony across the seas. and he felt that they just needed to be lifted up and given their dignity back and that opportunity for a hand up rather than a handout.
He bought Hadley Farm in 1892 and established a dairy, market garden, and even made the most of the clay deposits, creating his own brickworks. William Booth seems to be such a driven man.
That was his Christian faith. He definitely believed so strongly in the word of God, but also the social action that came along with it and combined the two.
In his later years, he returned to his roots, travelling the country, preaching to the crowds who came to hear the now famous William Booth. He visited the many projects that the army were involved in, both here and abroad, in 58 countries across the world. When William Booth died in 1912, aged 83, 10,000 uniformed Salvationists, along with 40 marching bands, processed through the streets. 3,000 police were on duty to control the crowds of mostly working people who turned out to pay tribute to the man they knew was always on their side, with a genuine understanding of the effects of grinding poverty. William Booth realised very early in his life the power of music to unite and inspire. So he wrote many of his own hymns, often putting them to popular melodies of the day. Our next hymn is affectionately known as the Founder's Song, and in it, William describes his own experience of finding Christ. Here at Hadley Farm, they're helping people to get a taste of working life, and Sam is one of the trainees benefiting from that experience.
Hello, Sam.
Oh, thank you.
Right.
Sam, that's lovely.
Can I introduce you to Sam?
Thank you for the
I'm
tea.
Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Have you been coming here a long time?
Yes, I love it here.
Thank you very much. We'll enjoy that.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
So if William Booth were here today, would he recognise the place?
He would recognise that we still are training people with barriers to employment, just as he did in Victorian days. There isn't requirement for so many men and women to work on the land today, but we've a horticultural unit and we've also got a rare breed centre.
If I gently put it here.
And we are able to tap into tourism, so we've got the fantastic tea rooms. It's backed up by people working, helping people to achieve whatever they plan for themselves. That might be just independent living or a paid job, or actually just being able to read and write their names.
Some of their best sellers are the hanging baskets created by trainees like Nick. What is it about being here that you enjoy most?
It's all my friends and the company, and the people are nice and the staff are nice.
And you started going to church, haven't
Yes, I'm the welcome team. So I welcome people into the church and then I give out leaflets out. As you go in the door, it feels like, oh, it's home. It's home. Feels like home.